looking at conditionals practice, first conditionals assignment, number 1. So in this task, you're supposed to create your own basic if-else statement that's going to test whether or not the season is summer. And then it stores the response in this response variable, which gets printed out on the page or in the results panel. So the else needs to include a way to print out a generic response if the conditions aren't met. So first off, after you download the code, it comes already with a couple variables. Let season equal summer, which is a string, and then let response is just defined and it's not assigned to anything. So in the space where it says add your code here, first thing we want to do is start the structure for an if statement. So we're going to say if, and then round parentheses, curly braces, and then we're going to say, at least for now, else, do something else. Alright, so the top end of the if statement before the else is going to be what's true. So if the season is summer, then we're going to say something. And otherwise, say something else. So in the parentheses, that's where we put our conditions. So we're testing for equality. So we're not going to use 1 equal sign. We're going to use at least 2, if not 3. So we're going to test if season is summer. And the 3 equals means it's going to test for the value as well as the type. So it wants to check that the value says summer and that the type is a string that we're comparing. So if the season is summer, we're going to change response and set it equal to something like this. We'll escape our apostrophe s here, so it's nice. So that's what happens if that's true. And then in the instructions it says we need to check whether it's winter and then have a default response. So if we need to check 2 conditions, that means we need to put in an else if at this point to test for winter. But let's start with the default response here. So if it's not summer and it's not winter, we need to tell the user what we know about or care about for the season. So we're going to set response equal to T here. There we go. I don't. This is yes. So we have to escape the apostrophes in these responses. If you don't want to do that, use double quotes. That'll take care of that. So now I want to insert one more catch here in the middle. So I'm going to terminate that first part of the if, and then I'm going to input else with a space if, and then start my next criteria. So in this instance, I'm going to put a condition here. So the next condition says if the season is exactly winter, then say this. So we're going to output response, set it equal to, bold, and you'll see here this is where I can do my escape with the backslash, save that. So I have my preview here in the middle, and if I hit refresh, you're going to see it says it's probably nice and warm where you are. So the reason it says that is because season is currently set to be summer. So in the console, let's see what happens if we change that. So if we say season equals winter, hit return, we're actually not going to see anything change on the page. Now, if we refresh, it's still going to think it's summer. So now in our code, if we say winter here, refresh our page, now it says, I hope you're not too cold. So we know it's winter. So that would be the main way to test this, is to set the value of season to some different words here that you're testing. So if we said it was fall, refresh the page, we should get our third response. So it says I don't know what season it is. So this would be pretty functional at this point. Now, the one thing we could do is expand on this and make it so that it would prompt you for the season and take the value of that prompt and run it through your logic. So instead of telling the script what season it is, we can change this by using prompt function, and we can set season equal to whatever the person types in for the prompt. So we could say what season is it? So that's going to prompt us. And then if I type in summer, it's going to give me one message. If I type in winter, it's going to give me the second. And if I type in anything else, even if it's not a season, it should just give us the default. So now if I hit return, refresh the page, you'll see it says what season is it where you are. I'm going to say summer. Now it says it's probably nice. I'm going to hit refresh, type in winter. Now it says I hope you're not too cold. And then I'm going to hit refresh one more time. And say fall. And it says it doesn't know the season. I'm going to hit refresh one more time. And then just put in some garbage. Still says it doesn't know. So that would be one way to extend that. That's also a good way to test for different inputs. Set a variable equal to prompt, and then type in the value you expect the user to input somewhere. So it's a kind of a additional method for testing your code instead of outputting things to the console. So that wraps up Conditionals 1.